Hey everybody, it's Kalymnios here from thethoughtgym.com, and on this video I thought I'd show you what my morning routine is a little bit before I go to work. So first up is making the morning smoothie. Grab the blender. So quite straightforward. I just grab a banana, have a stock of these, put it in there. It's in the composter, of course, and then add some milk. I prefer to use hemp milk this morning, not much in there, but equally any kind of milk that suits you. I keep a stock of coconut, almonds, rice milk is quite good with this sort of stuff. Okay, so in addition to milk, get some other things ready. I like to use green powder, which is a mix of various kinds of grasses. This has got all sorts of stuff in it: hemp protein, barley grass, spirulina, chlorella, wheatgrass, and a whole bunch of other things. But I also use other green powder now and then. I like this one though in the morning because it's got chocolate in it, so it tastes quite nice. And then in addition, I'll put these things, which is a mix of crushed almonds, flax seeds, Brazil nuts, walnuts and things. Of course there's many different kinds. Just squeeze out all the air before putting it back in the fridge. And also put a bit of this Udo's oil in there. I'm supposed to put a few teaspoons, but I think I'll put slightly less. So this is an organic blend of omega-3, 6 and 9. So I shove all of that into my smoothie maker, aka the blender, and then divide it up a bit on here. Right. And then the other one, just for good measure. So that is the first part of the food for the morning, and I have that. Oh, there's a big chunk of banana there. Whilst getting ready for the next part, which is the juicing. Now, the juicing I tend to take to the gym, and I kind of view it more as just a flavoured water. But let's try this first. So tasty. So next up, let's get some juicing going. Alright. Chopping board. This is the juicer that I like to use, which is the Philips Avance, and you'll get to see that in action in just a second. And let's pick some vegetables. I don't really have any hard and fast rules with what I put in. It's usually whatever I can find in the fridge. I tend to always like there to be a staple of things such as lemon, ginger, cucumber and celery. And so they're the ones I have most mornings, and it's partly because that's all I can find in my local little shop. So always a bit of ginger, maybe, I don't know, this is quite a lot, but maybe about that much or so. Shove that in there. I'll sip of this. Okay, courgette, cucumber, I think. Probably half a lemon in a second. This is spinach. I think we'll do a bit of broccoli. No, we'll do broccoli, but this is a bit of celery as well. So, the whole process does take about sort of 15 minutes or so in the mornings. But you'll see it's really worth it. don't really put any rules with how much of any of the products I put in. It's kind of a bit trial and error really, and just see what works for you. I think when you're starting out, especially if you're not used to vegetable juices, you might want to put some fruit in it. I wouldn't recommend that on an ongoing basis, just because fruit has got a lot of sugar in it, and when you juice things, it just concentrates it all a bit. So my advice there is to ease off the apples and pears and anything else, and go for as much vegetables, green vegetables as possible. Maybe if you want, put some carrot. I sometimes put beetroot in there. That's quite sweet tasting. Again, there's no rules. Just so far, I've made hundreds of juices. I'm not sure I've even made the same one twice, and they've all tasted amazing. So you just can't go wrong, I think, with juicing stuff. So there's that. A bit of broccoli. The spinach is already washed, so I won't be doing that. What you want to do, when you've got any kind of leafy vegetables, and I can use lettuce or cabbage or anything sometimes, put those in kind of first before you put in the other things, just so that you can pack things down. Use as much of that as possible. And then you don't have to chop with this blender. In fact, I prefer to chop them just because why not? It doesn't take that much longer, and they can pack in a little easier. And equally, you don't actually have to peel the lemon like I'm doing now. I'd get on wax lemons if you can. You can put them in with the skin, and it does take them off. But I tell you what, I found it does. I think you do get a bit of the flavour. You do get a bit of the taste of the skin, which is not something I particularly like. So so I've chosen to take the skin off these days. And literally, you just shove things in, no particular order. Just as much as you can. A bit of broccoli in there. It's great superfood. So everything goes in there, and then shove it down as much as possible. Now, word of advice: if you've got one of these things and you think, oh, I'm only going to have a cupful, don't put the cup there, because this actually spurts out everywhere, and I've done that before. And also, hold this down quite firm, because sometimes it's got quite a powerful motor, and when you do it, one time I had beetroot just fall everywhere. Not the most pleasant thing. So anyway, there's two settings. One for stronger vegetables, but I think we can do it. I'll just set setting number one here. So literally come through there, out there, and then what I often do, because that might be quite strong in my juice. My juice container is about 600 ml, and this is only less than 250 ml of juice, so I'll also clean this out a little bit, at the same time add in a bit of water. Yeah, a bit more. Glass underneath so it doesn't drop on your bench. Literally nice juice there. Top up a bit more water. So if you want to think of it as just flavoured water, so I wouldn't recommend getting all your vegetables a day through juicing, because when you do juice, it strips the fibre from the vegetables. So I do get my 8 portions or more vegetables a day through other means, and then these is just an addition really, and it's more like flavoured water than anything. Oh, it's lovely, you've really got to try it. Like I said, there's nothing that you can't really put in these things, and they all taste fabulous. So I'll just leave that in the fridge while I wash up everything else, and down a bit more of this. So the other thing to consider when getting a juicer, and it might be the most important thing, is how easy it is to clean. Because if you're going to be using it every day, two things you need to consider. One, have it out. So I was the kind of person that didn't want anything on my benches at all. But sadly, if I did that with a juicer, I would never use it. So have the juicer out and ready. And then the other thing to consider is cleaning. So this kind of comes apart quite easily. So this is just to scrape off all the residual stuff. I would get yourself a composter like this. I got this from the council for free, and it was sitting in my house for about 4 or 5 years before using it. The other thing with, I scrape it out with a spoon this, but you can actually buy bags which will go in here. I've never actually bought one. They're like composting bags, so you actually just pop it out, put it in the composter, and it biodegrades, so you don't have to do this. But I mean, this adds a couple of seconds really. It saves me buying the bags, and then we get to the washing part. So obviously there's a bit of residual stuff there, so it doesn't take very long to wash up at all.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling